What's up, guys? This is Tabletop Vibes, and today we're taking a look at Fate of Venterra by Corrosive Games.
Yeah,
we're also going to move this because the box is
It's
huge. So this is a 4X asymmetric power player ability, dudes on a map area control game, which is pretty epic and a lot of fun.
It is a pretty good time.
You start off the game by picking out your faction.
Yeah, which I will step in before we move beyond that. It's
Yeah.
very important to read the entire story about the faction so that way you don't forget things.
There's flavor text, and then there is literal information. Our very first playthrough, we played a couple different times.
Yep.
Played at 2 players, played at 4 players, played at 5 players. 4 players is a sweet spot.
Yeah.
5 players a little bit long, but it's still really good because there's enough people playing.
Sure. Yeah.
2 players, there's prerequisites, which we'll talk about.
Yeah.
But on everybody's player board, it tells you how to play your person.
Yeah.
So Eric, when we first played, you were the Northmen.
Yeah, I think so.
The Northmen.
They have everybody's got like a power, and
Yeah.
my power I read wrong. I thought it was end of game wins, and it was supposed to be progressive through the game. So make
his
sure you
thing
read
was
that.
whenever he played on a place of power,
yeah,
which is like a cool shrine looking thing, he would get to be able to upgrade his battle points or development points, which we'll get into. And then I played as the Legion of the Dragon, which they're just aggression.
Yeah, they
swarm dudes on the map, just aggression, attack, and build my army for cheap.
Yeah, it was hard to fight against him, but we got through it, and he didn't destroy me. But it does happen.
So essentially, you get to play as the Legion of the Dragon, the Northern Men, the Order.
Yeah,
they're pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
The Pack. They're probably the most difficult to play as because theirs is all based off of positioning. But you can do more things by triggering where you're at. It's pretty complex one to play as. And then you can also play as the Bear. They're pretty cool. And so you get to play each of these. They all have their starting resources. They all have their own asymmetrical ability. They also have their own ability cards.
Yeah,
which
the ability cards are really cool.
Yours was mean.
Yeah, because the coolest part about mine was when you were able to play any of your power cards.
Power of the Gods.
Yeah, Power of the Gods, that's what it was. I was able to have a special ability to either collect a new leader card, which are hugely helpful and help defend against this guy inside of his forced attack all the time, or I was able to just go ahead and add another unit at 0 cost.
Yeah.
That has 0 cost.
Or he can spend his development or battle points to just throw out my Power of the Gods card. It didn't. I did either 3 to. I think it was 3 to not to. I didn't even have to play it. He could just get rid of it, or 2 to cancel it.
Yeah. That was, which was a little difficult because I was playing my game wrong because I didn't have as many battle points, so I wasn't able to get rid of all of them.
We did get it down eventually.
Yeah.
The Legion of the Dragon, though, it's the start. It's one of the starter ones, but I think it has a really cool something benefactor. And at the start of the round, you get to pick different another guy, a money, or an ability of battle points or development points. So there's a tracker. And it has either if you're initiating battles or if you're upgrading your buildings or building buildings, you're moving up on these tracks. And the higher you go, the more influence points you get and the more stuff you unlock.
Absolutely. Because definitely the money is huge. And
it's so tight.
If you have to really take advantage of the different tracks that you're on, because they give you the free rewards as you increase them. Yeah. So that way you don't have to spend money on upgrades or extra buildings. So that's definitely a huge pay attention to how that works, because otherwise you're going to be searching for money the entire game.
And so the phases of the game, the flow is you're going to start off with the income phase. Mm-hmm. You start off with
your one main base,
castle.
The castle that's a fortress.
Yeah, then you have fortress, and then you have outposts that you start with. Usually, the gold people, they start off with something different. A couple of other people have different starting resources, but you're usually starting off with 3 money increase, and then you can gain more increases and income by capturing buildings and or building other buildings, so that every turn you're going to get more income.
Yeah, because as you go along, you want to get to those shrines pretty quick. And one thing about placement, you got to keep your shrines back on your own protected territory.
The shrine buildings are
they're helpful because they give you lots of money, but they have no defense help. The benefits of the outpost, you want to get them out on the front line because they give you defense when somebody's attacking you.
And you will then recruit to those 2 buildings
that's also huge,
which is huge.
Bring your guys right
not
to the
understanding
front line.
Not understanding that you need to have a building in the front line to throw your guy to the front line. You got to have to work on it. But yeah, there's income phase. There's also Declare phase, which essentially you have 4 different cards. You have Plan, you have Maneuver, you have Charge, and you have Reinforce, which we'll get into what they all do. But essentially, you're going to have these every single turn of the game. There's 6 rounds of the game, and you will choose 2 out of those 4 cards to play down in front of you. Mm-hmm. And depending on turn order and initiative order, which you can bid for, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Gotta have money for that.
Gotta have money for that, yes. It does cost money. But then you're going to play 2 of these cards down, and then you'll pick which one, depending on if you're first.
Yep.
I'll pick Reinforce. Like, here I did Reinforce and Plan. Well, I'm going to go with Reinforce first, then Eric gets to do his, and we go all the way around the table. Yep. Then we do our second command. So you have first command, second command. And then he goes into Quest.
Yep. And then you gotta be careful about making your armies too big.
Yeah,
I don't know how this guy was able to spread his army so perfectly. I ended up having to pay my armies all the time.
Yeah, so I think one cool thing about this is that like you get penalized for hoarding.
Yeah.
Which is really hard for my character because I get to put out a lot of guys fast for the Legion of the Dragon. Yep. But putting them in multiple areas and trying to spread out my units to attack first, or plan to lose units, which I didn't.
But that's where, like, when you get the charge, you're able to pull from multiple spaces to really bolster that attack, which I always had trouble with because I always wanted more guys to fend off his attacks.
Right. So, I did win the one time we played 2 players.
Yeah.
I don't remember who won in the other ones, but we played a bunch of different people won. We had a good group playing, but so we'll start with Plan. Plan is cool because Plan lets you take 2 quest cards. So there's quest cards in the game that when you hit a certain level or you do something, you can then, at the end of the phases, in the quest phase, I think it's 5, step 5.
Yeah.
You can then resolve one of your quests, giving you influence points and possibly free guys, money,
and end game bonus points. Those things are really helpful.
And then there's subcategory actions to do on each card from left to right. You can then either move 2 units up to their movement. So all the units in the game have attack, defense, and movement, or they don't have any of those, which is really hard sometimes. And then you can also upgrade all of your units by upgrading your forge, which is a double-edged sword, which is a pun, and it works perfectly because it's an upgrade that costs you $2. Upgrades usually cost for buildings cost $2, and buying buildings usually cost $3. But the forge subtracts $1 per upkeep phase.
Yeah, but it makes your soldiers, either your soldier, your ships, all your different players. Just an extra added bonus ability.
Yeah, I think your normal soldiers become brutes, your ships become long ships, your scouts become rangers, siege becomes a golem, and then your little knight becomes a paladin. Which I'm not gonna lie, those horse dudes really helped me out.
Yeah, they did because they came from everywhere.
Except for you got to be pretty vicious.
Oh, dude, that was my favorite card to play.
Yeah, so the power of the gods cards are kind of like the game-breaking, cool abilities,
mess everybody else up kind of
100%.
Stuff. For sure. And my favorite one was definitely the power of Desadar, I believe.
Yeah, Desadar or something like that.
Yeah,
something
exactly.
Like that. We'll show it on the screen.
But the cool part is, when I was able to put out a recruit for anything, I got to remove the same recruit version from his guy.
That was awful. So I had just spent my last $3 to buy a paladin, and then Eric then recruits a paladin and throws out my paladin. That was not.
And they're the most expensive to buy. They're $3 to get, and so you gotta manage your money.
So you gotta manage your money. You're managing your units. You also need to be and keep up to what your abilities are that you're unlocking, because those really help out a lot.
Absolutely.
The other really cool unit that I feel like is very underappreciated is the ship.
The ship,
the ship is super cool.
Ship is because it basically lets you skip places almost.
Yeah,
it's really helpful.
It's a free movement for your guys, and you can literally, the ship can move between water places on the board. And so if I have a movement of 2, I can skip over, I can move 1, skip 1, and then keep moving.
Yeah. And also from a defensive perspective,
they do support.
It helps with extra support for being able to, if you only got a couple guys, you're able to add that support to be able to help shift the tides and add more defense to your
tides. Yes, I mean, again, it's really cool because it kind of takes a new, fresh look at area control. It's not hard to learn.
No.
But it's also, there's a lot of strategy, like we were kind of talking about. You need to read your your abilities
first.
and then you need to continue to keep reading your abilities, because each faction has 3 like upgrade cards. You have 1 automatically on your mat, which again we'll show you the player boards. But you're unlocking these different abilities as the game progresses. You're moving up the track in development, in attack, getting free upgrades. So trying to combo your free upgrades, not pay for stuff.
Yep.
If I attack Eric with my guys and he had a building there, his building and he lost the fight, his building would be dissolved, and I can then put out my building for free.
Nope.
So there's like ways, shouldn't be buying all your buildings, you should be trying to attack.
Or definitely
some balance.
Build a balance of it for sure. But it definitely it depends on which faction you end up with too. Like there are ones that are definitely built for just gun ho, take over the world,
right?
And others are a little bit more placed back on defense, so you can have play a little different strategy.
Right. So that's the thing is each faction kind of plays differently, which is really kind of cool. That's the point. Asymmetric ability, and then you guys can always switch different factions and people up and try different ones, which was what we did. I still think the Legion of the Dragon just fits my personality.
It definitely does. It's no surprise.
Yeah, aggression and attacking. The pack is cool though because it's just complicated, and if you want that like good burn and mind like puzzle feel, that's the one that go for. But yeah, it's really cool how they all flow together. There's quests, like we said. There's Power of the Gods, which is fun. They do a bunch of different things. And then you have commanders, which every group has their own commanders that has attack and defense or special abilities. Like Eric's commander in the Northmen
was awesome.
Could literally remove my commander.
Yeah, just makes him go away.
I had a 4 attack and a 1 defense commander, and you have to buy these into your hand. You start off with a couple like low level guys.
Yeah, there's like a 1-1, 2-2, and then there's like your specialty one that's like a little more expensive to buy. But definitely you want to get those guys because they will shift whatever's going to happen. You
could also bluff, which is kind of it's debatable. It's in certain scenarios.
Yeah.
So like you don't want, because like once you use your commander, he goes back. You don't have to rebuy
him again.
So you can bluff with your like plan cards. With
one of the ones you didn't use. So if you put out your charge and your reinforce, you could just dump a plan.
And the rest of the cards. Maneuver lets you maneuver. I forgot about that. Maneuver lets you maneuver. You can take any guys from one spot and move them out. There's also really cool like experience tokens that you can kind of unlock that like have defense value, that if you're move into it with the amount of attack that you need to take out their defense, you can flip the little token over, gaining you more stuff. Yeah,
and that gets you like potentially new quests. It gives you
battle points.
Yeah,
Power of the Gods.
Yeah, definitely things that'll help you throughout the game and earn extra points. Because definitely for those quests, some of them are really weird that you're not going to get. Like there's times like like I needed 2 desert spots and they were on the opposite sides of the board.
Yeah,
like,
they were literally
that's
on
just not going to happen.
Right, and so you get like ones like that. There's also Power of the God card that lets you just complete a quest and then discard it and get the benefit. Also in maneuver, you can upgrade your commander or
upgrade your board so that way you can have this other
new abilities
that are set up for your specific faction.
Right, and or you can recruit a unit, which is fun. Charge does the opposite of maneuver, so maneuvers out charges from a bunch of different locations to one center location, which really can help with attacking if you can surround somebody and then
just dominate it.
And then or you can get to buy another commander, gain $2. Reinforce lets you reinforce,
which is the best
it is like you'll probably use the reinforce all the time. Yeah,
because that's how you get your shrines and how you get your outposts, and it gets extra people out
and upgrade your buildings as well.
Yeah.
So there's just and it's just like a lot of cool moving parts. We're kind of all over the place, but it's like the 4 things: plan, maneuver, charge, reinforce. Those are your 4 actions. They have sub actions. Sometimes you get to do them multiple times, depending on if you get upgrades, current kind of different upgrades, different things. The game is a lot of fun. It's coming to Kickstarter soon, so keep a lookout. Let us know and comment on your favorite siege weapon.
There you go.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think of the one from Vikings.
Yeah.
Like the it's like stacked.
The trebuchet?
Is that what it's called?
I think so.
Yeah. Trebuchets.
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah. So like, subscribe, and comment. Let us know. We're Tabletop Vibes, and we'll check you next time.